I've worked with thousands of professionals on camera, CEOs, surgeons, seven-figure sales reps, high performers across every industry. And one confession echoes louder than all the rest. I hate the way I look. I hate the way I sound. And today I'm going to explain why that happens, why it doesn't matter nearly as much as you think, and what you should do instead. And don't confuse this for vanity or for being shallow, and you are certainly not alone in this. The discomfort you feel when you see yourself on camera or hear your recorded voice is one of the most universal experiences in human psychology. But here's what most people don't understand. The problem isn't how you look or sound. The problem is unfamiliarity, evolutionary threat detection, and a self-perception gap that your brain hasn't learned to close yet. Allow me to explain. I've heard this confession thousands of times from people at every level of success. A CEO running a $50 million company told me, I can lead a boardroom, I can close $1 million deals, but I can't watch myself on video without cringing. A surgeon with 20 years of experience said, I've performed thousands of procedures, I can handle life or death pressure, but seeing myself on camera makes me want to quit. A sales rep earning 7 figures told me, I can sell anything to anyone in person, but when I see myself on video, all I see is everything wrong with me. Same story, different people, every single time. I hate the way I look, I hate the way I sound. Here's the first thing you need to understand. You are not reacting to objective reality. You are reacting to a subjective, unfamiliar experience. And your brain is interpreting that unfamiliarity as a threat. So here's what's actually happening in your brain. The mirror versus camera problem. You've spent thousands of hours looking at yourself in mirrors, probably tens of thousands of hours. And every single time you've seen a horizontally reversed image of your face. Your brain has encoded that reversed image as you. It's built an entire neural template around that reversed version. But when you look at a camera, you see the true unreversed image. So this version is the one that's more three-dimensional that everybody else sees every single day. And because it's unfamiliar, your brain processes it almost like a stranger's face. Research by psychologist Robert Zients demonstrates this through what's called the mirror exposure effect. Repeated exposure to a stimulus increases preference for that stimulus. You prefer your mirror image because you've seen it thousands of times. It has become familiar. Others prefer your camera image because that's what they see every single day. Your three-dimensional you, because that's what they see every day. The discomfort you feel isn't evidence that you look worse on camera, it's just evidence that you are unfamiliar with the three-dimensional camera version of yourself. Then there's the voice problem. The same thing happens with your voice. So when you speak, you hear your voice through two pathways. Air conduction, which is sound traveling through the air to your ears, and bone conduction, which is vibrations traveling through your skull directly to your inner ear. Bone conduction adds a low frequency emphasis. It makes your voice sound deeper, more resonant, more familiar. But when you're hearing a recording of your voice, you're just hearing it through pure air conduction. It's the version everybody else hears. And because it's missing that bone conduction you've heard your entire life, it sounds wrong, odd, weird, unfamiliar, off. And obviously you are going to prefer the bone conducted version because that's what you've heard every time you've spoken. The discomfort isn't evidence that your voice is bad. It's evidence that you're just unfamiliar with how you actually sound to others. And then there's the negativity bias. And here's where it gets worse. Your brain has what neuroscientists call a negativity bias. It allocates disproportionate resources to threat detection. In ancestral environments, this kept you alive. Missing a threat could get you killed. Missing an opportunity just meant that you'd try again tomorrow. So your brain evolved to be hyper-vigilant for anything that could signal social rejection or danger. When you see yourself on camera, your threat detection system activates. It starts scanning for flaws, for things that could lead to judgment, for evidence that you're not good enough. And because your brain is wired to find threats, it finds them, even when they're not there. This is why you fixate on every perceived flaw, every awkward expression, every stumble over a word. Your brain is doing exactly what evolution designed it to do: scan for social threats and amplify them. But in the modern world, this system misfires. It treats your unfamiliar camera image as a potential threat. It floods you with self-criticism and convinces you that everyone else sees what you see, but they don't. Now here's where I'm really going to challenge you. If you're letting this discomfort stop you from creating content, from sharing your message, or from showing up on camera, you are being selfish. And I do mean selfish because you are more concerned about how you look and sound than you are about the value you could be delivering to your audience. You have knowledge, you have experience, you have stories, you have insights that could change someone's life and improve their lived experience. But you're holding it because you don't like how you look on camera. That's ego, that's self-preservation, that's selfish. If you're passionate about something, if you have conviction about something, if you know something to be true that can help others, it's not just important that you share it, it's your moral obligation. It's your duty. When you obsess over how you look and sound, you're not thinking about your message. You're not thinking about the problem you solve. You're not thinking about the transformation you can create. You are thinking about yourself. And that's the problem, because the truth is your audience does not care about your appearance nearly as much as you do. They care about whether you can help them, whether you can solve their problem, whether you have the knowledge, the expertise, and the story they need. So when you focus on service instead of self, something shifts. You stop obsessing over your hair, your outfit, your perfect background, your lighting, and you stop worrying about sounding perfect and start thinking about your message, the value, the transformation. And that's where real confidence comes from, not from looking perfect, but from knowing the value that you're adding. Here's another reframe that really helps. When you are on camera, you're not performing for an audience of thousands, you are having a one-on-one conversation with one person who's watching that video. If I sat you down at a coffee shop and asked you about your work, your expertise, your passion, you would be able to talk at length, confidently, without overthinking, because you're talking to one person about something that you know, something that you care about. And that's all video is. It's a one-on-one conversation that's distributed at scale. One person watches, then another, but each of them experiences it as a conversation with you. So stop thinking of it as a broadcast to the masses and start thinking of it as speaking to one single person who needs to hear what you have to say. And that mental shift changes everything. I always like to think of it as like I'm having nachos with a buddy of mine, and I'm just passionately and articulately explaining the subject matter that he has inquired about. And it's something that I am deeply versed in and experienced with, and am able to bring that energy and conviction to the conversation and to the delivery. So here is your action item. Commit to 20 uploads in 90 days. Not 20 perfect videos, not 20 polished productions, just 20 uploads. Because here's what the research shows. The mere exposure effect typically reaches maximum impact within 10 to 20 exposures. After 10 to 20 times of seeing your face on camera, your image, your brain starts to recalibrate. That unfamiliar becomes more familiar, and the threat signal decreases dramatically, and the discomfort begins to fade. But most people never get there. They have way too much friction. They record their first video and they hate how they look and they quit. Or they record 3 videos, they cringe at each one and then give up. You have to push through the discomfort long enough for your brain to adapt. And by rep 20, you'll notice a shift. By rep 50, you won't recognize the person you were at step 1, and it will all just be part of your normal workflow. And not because you'll look any different, but it's because you'll stop caring about how you look and start caring about what you are saying. And here's the critical part. Focus on the value you are delivering, not your appearance. Look presentable, but don't over-index and overthink constantly how you need to look perfect and deliver perfectly. Before each video, you need to ask yourself, who am I helping? What problem am I solving? What transformation am I creating? When you answer those questions, your self-consciousness decreases because you are thinking about service, not self. And one more thing you need to understand is that avoidance does not reduce discomfort. It amplifies it. When you avoid recording because you hate how you look, you are teaching your brain that seeing yourself on camera is a danger, that it's something you need to be afraid of. Your brain responds by increasing the threat signal next time. Research on fear modulation shows that the only way to reduce fear is through repeated exposure in safe conditions. When you expose yourself to the thing you fear and nothing catastrophic happens, your brain learns that the threat isn't real. Your prefrontal cortex starts inhibiting your amygdala, your croc brain, and the threat signal decreases. The discomfort fades. So the solution isn't to wait until you feel ready. The solution is to act before you feel ready. The action of confidence comes first, and the feelings of confidence will come as a result later on. Look, I'm not saying you need to absolutely love how you look on camera, but I am saying that you need to stop letting it control your actions. Your message matters more than your aesthetics. Your value matters more than your appearance. Your impact matters more than your insecurity. And the people who need to hear what you have to say, they don't care about your hair, or your lighting, or your background of your studio, or whether you stumbled over a word. They care about whether you can help them. So stop withholding your value because of ego, and stop being selfish with your knowledge. Start recording, start publishing, start serving, and let those reps do the work that build your confidence. If you're realizing right now that you've been letting discomfort stop you from taking action, I've built something just for you. Creator Legion is my free weekly newsletter where I break down psychology, systems, creative workflows, and proven frameworks for building camera confidence and creator-led brands. It's the field notes and tactics I've used with thousands of creators and entrepreneurs over my life's work as a creative entrepreneur. Real frameworks that actually work. Link in the description. Now here's a component that a lot of people miss. This doesn't mean that you ignore constructive feedback. It doesn't mean that you are like, well, I don't have to approve it all because Austin said I'm perfect just the way I am. It doesn't mean you stop working to improve your delivery or learning better communication skills, or that you can gradually elevate your gear, space, technical proficiencies. It means you stop letting perfectionism add friction and paralyze you. There's a difference between refining your craft and obsessing over perceived flaws that only you notice. Your first 20 videos will not be perfect, and that's the point. They're not supposed to be perfect. And honestly, when you're early in your journey, the platform is still trying to figure out who you serve and what your message is. So most people aren't even going to see those early videos. So those videos are not supposed to be perfect. They're supposed to be published, because the only way to get to video 50 when you become confident, clear, and comfortable is to go through videos 1 through 49. You cannot circumvent the work. And every day you wait to feel ready is a day you're not building the familiarity, the exposure, and the reps that are needed to create real confidence. So give yourself some grace, but also give yourself a sense of urgency and accountability. 20 uploads in 90 days, even if they're imperfect, even if you cringe, that is the protocol that will help lead you to success and true camera confidence. The bottom line is this: you don't hate the way you look or sound, you hate the unfamiliarity and the discomfort. And the only way to close that gap is through action and repetition, not perfection. No better lighting, no better camera, just put the reps in. 20 uploads in 90 days. Focus on service, not self, and think one-on-one conversation, not broadcast to the masses. The discomfort you feel now, it's temporary. It fades with continued exposure, but the regret of never sharing your message, that lasts forever. So stop being selfish with your own knowledge and stop withholding value because of ego. Start recording, start publishing, and start serving. The people who need to hear what you have to say are waiting. If this is the reframe you needed, subscribe. I publish every week on camera confidence, creator strategy, and the psychology of high performance communication. And if you want the frameworks, systems, creative workflows, and strategies for building camera confidence and showing up consistently with your video, join Creator Legion. It's free, it's tactical, and designed for people who are serious about building authority through video. Link in the description. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next video.